If this video found you right now, I need you to stop scrolling, because what I'm about to say to you is gonna explain something that you felt happening to your body and your heart for the last couple weeks, and you didn't have words for it. Okay? The final goodbye. Yeah. That's not me being dramatic for the title. That's literally what this is. You have been saying goodbye to something, and the wild part, the part that's gonna make you feel like a little crazy when I say it, is that it wasn't even your pain to begin with. It was theirs. Their fault, their pain, and you have been carrying it around in your body like it was your own for so long that you forgot it wasn't yours. And right now, in this exact window of time, that thing is leaving you. That is the purge, and the purge is over. It's done. And the bittersweet part, the part that's gonna hit you right in the chest, is that even though this thing was never good for you, even though it was heavy and dark and exhausting to carry, you still loved it a little bit because it was familiar. And now you're letting go of it. And that letting go feels like losing something you love. Even though what you're actually losing is a wound that was never supposed to be yours in the first place. Okay? Stay with me here, because I promise you by the end of this you're going to understand exactly what's been happening to you. So here's what I'm picking up on. And I want you to really feel into this instead of just listening with your ears. Within the last 2 weeks, and for some of you, it's gonna stretch back a full month. So just take whatever timeline fits you. You know your own story better than I do. Something has been purging out of your system. And when I say purge, I don't mean like a little emotional moment. I mean a full release. Like your whole body decided on its own, without asking your permission, that it was done holding this thing. And I keep seeing this image of like a container, like an outline of a body, and inside it there is this thick, dark, swirly stuff, almost like oil. This heavy, dark liquid, and it's been just been sitting in there for years, and now it's draining out. You can literally see the level dropping, and that container that's yours, that's been you this whole time. You've been walking around as a vessel holding something that was never yours to hold, to carry. And there is this thing that's gonna make this make sense. That dark stuff wasn't your sadness. It wasn't your shame. It was theirs. Somebody, a parent, a partner, a friend, somebody who was supposed to protect you and didn't. Somebody handed you their pain, and you, because you were young, or because you loved them, or because you didn't know any better, you took it. You absorbed it like it was your job. You started carrying their guilt like it was your guilt. You started feeling responsible for things that were never your responsibility. Their fault, their pain. And you wore it like a second skin for years. And now in these last couple of weeks, that skin is finally coming off. I want you to think about whether you had any old stuff come back up recently, like memories you swore you already healed, old habits you thought you were done with, an old pattern showing up again, and you're sitting there going, wait, I thought I worked through this already. Why is this happening again? Why now? Of all times, when I felt like I was finally getting somewhere. If that's you, listen to me closely. That is not you regressing. That is not you failing. That old stuff came back up because it was the very last bit. It's like those old school coffee presses, the ones where you push the plunger and all the way down to push all the grounds to the bottom. It's like that. Everything was being pushed down and out, and what you were feeling was the very last little bit, the drags coming up one final time before it left completely. It came back because it was leaving, not because it was staying. It needed one final moment of being seen before it could go. And honestly, when I sat with that, it made me kind of emotional, and I'm not even gonna lie to you, because there is something so quietly devastating about realizing that pain just wants to be witnessed one more time before it's allowed to leave. We treat pain like it's the enemy, right? We are like, get it away from me. I don't want to feel this. Make it stop. But pain isn't actually trying to hurt you. Pain is just trying to get your attention. It's a signal. It's your body's way of waving a flag and going, hey, something happened here. Please look at this. People who cannot physically feel pain, the rare ones who have that condition, they end up hurting themselves constantly without even realizing it. Because there is no warning system telling them to stop. So pain, as much as we hate it, it's actually a form of protection. It's a form of love. Weirdly enough, yeah. And what I'm seeing for you is that this old pain, this thing you've been carrying that was never even yours, it wasn't trying to punish you this whole time. It just wanted one moment of acknowledgement before you let it walk out the door for good. So here is what I feel like happened for you. And I want you to picture this with me. I feel like you sat down. Maybe not literally, maybe this happened in a dream or in a quiet drive somewhere, or in the shower, or at 3 in the morning when you couldn't sleep, and you had a conversation with this old version of the pain, like it was a small, scared version of someone, almost like a child, standing in front of you. And instead of yelling at it to get out, instead of showing it away one more time like you've done 1,000 times before, I feel like you looked at it and you said, thank you. Thank you for warning me when I needed warning. Thank you for teaching me what hurt feels like so I'd know it when I saw it again. Thank you for helping me see clearly even when seeing clearly was painful. Thank you for helping me recognize darkness in other people, because you taught me what it looked like first. Thank you for keeping me safe, the only way you knew how. And then I see you hugging it, not fighting it, hugging it. And then finally let it go, letting it go. Yeah, that's the final goodbye. That's what the title is about. You were not saying goodbye to a person necessarily, or even a specific memory. You were saying goodbye to an old identity, the version of you that thought this pain was permanent furniture in your life, the version of you that thought you had to keep caring because just because somebody else handed it to you. And yeah, it's gonna feel like a loss. It's gonna feel like grief, because even broke, even heavy, even unfair, that thing was part of your story for so long that letting it go feels like losing a piece of yourself. You let go of what you love, even when what you loved was actually hurting you the whole time. That's allowed, yeah. You have allowed it. You are allowed it to grieve something that wasn't good for you. That doesn't make you weak. It makes you human. Makes you just human. Now, here's where it gets good, okay? Because I don't want to leave you sitting in the sad part, even though the sad part needed to be said. What this purge has done, and I cannot stress this enough, is it has cleared out space, a real physical, energetic space inside you. Like a room that's finally being emptied out after years of clutter. And what's moving into that space right now, today, this week, is passion, creativity. The kind of energy that makes you want to actually do something with your life instead of just surviving it. This was never just about releasing pain for the sake of releasing pain. This was about making room. You couldn't create from a place that was already full of someone else's grief. You needed the emptying first. And I'm getting that this whole process, all of it, the purge, the old memories, resurfacing, the sadness. This was really about restoring hope. Picture it like this. Doubt and disbelief were poured out of you, and now you're being filled back up. Slowly, with something steadier, something that actually belongs to you this time. Not borrowed faith, not somebody else's leftover optimism, your own. The dark, oily stuff draining out of that container I described earlier, that's being replaced now with something lighter, something golden. I keep seeing this golden, warm energy pouring in where the dark stuff used to be, like sunlight filling up a room after you finally open the curtains that have been shut for years. That's what I'm feeling. So let's talk about the fear piece, because this is huge and I really want you to hear this part. Whatever fear you've been carrying, fear of going after what you actually want, fear of speaking up for yourself, fear of being fully unapologetically yourself in front of people who might judge you, fear of even admitting what your wildest dream actually is. that fear has been drained out right alongside the pain. It was the last thing standing guard, honestly, because fear's whole job is to protect you from getting hurt again, the way you got hurt before. But fear doesn't know the difference between old danger and new safety. It just keeps standing guard forever unless something tells it the threat is gone. And that's exactly what's happening for you right now. The threat is gone. The old situation that taught you to be afraid, to be small, to hide what you actually wanted, that situation is over. You're not in it anymore. But your nervous system, your brilliant nervous system might not have gotten the memo yet. And that's okay. That's normal. That's what this whole process is for. So think about where this is gonna show up for you practically, because it's gonna show up. Maybe you're somebody who writes things or creates things or has ideas, and you've been sitting on a post, a project, a piece of work, something you've been scared to put out into the world because you thought people might judge it or judge you. That fear is leaving. You are going to start putting that thing out there. Maybe you are somebody at a job where you've been staying quiet, letting your ideas get passed over, letting other people take credit because speaking up felt too risky. That fear is leaving too. You're going to start speaking up. Maybe it's your family. Maybe you've got a whole pattern of not telling them how you actually feel, smoothing everything over, making yourself smaller at the dinner table so nobody gets uncomfortable. That fear is leaving. You're going to start telling the truth. Gently, but clearly. And you're not going to apologize for it anymore. I want you to notice if you start seeing repeating numbers over the next few days, like you glance at a clock and it's 11:11, or you see the same little sequence pop up over and over in random places. I'm not going to make it a big mystical thing out of it. I just want you to notice it because for a lot of people, it shows up right around in time, at the time this kind of release is happening. Almost like a little nudge, a little, hey, you're on a track. Keep going. Same with the butterflies. If you start noticing them more than usual, or just this general sense of lightness in your chest that wasn't there before. Your body knows before your mind catches up. Trust the lightness when it shows up. Don't talk yourself out of it. Now let's go back to the physical side of this for a second, because I really do think your body has been involved in this, not just your emotions. A lot of you, within this last month specifically, have probably noticed something off physically. Maybe your sleep's been weird, maybe you felt unusually tired, or unusually emotional for no clear reason. Or you have had random aches, tension, sitting somewhere in your body that doesn't usually sit there. I'm not saying this to scare you or to replace seeing an actual doctor. If somebody feels seriously wrong, please always take care of your physical health properly. But energetically, Yeah, energetically, what I'm picking up is that the lowest, most grounded part of you, the part connected to safety and survival and your sense of belonging in the world, that's where the heaviest part of this release has been happening. That's why it felt so physical. That's why it felt like it's in your body and not just in your head. Releases like this almost always start at the root and work their way up, because the root is where we store the oldest stuff, the stuff from way back, the stuff that got laid down before we even had words for what was happening to us. And here's something beautiful that I keep coming back to. You know how a pearl gets made? An oyster gets irritated by something it didn't choose, something foreign, something that doesn't belong inside it, and instead of being destroyed by it, the oyster wraps it layer after layer until that irritate becomes something beautiful. That's exactly what's happened to you. The pain you were carrying, the stuff that was never yours, it irritated you for years. It was uncomfortable. It didn't belong inside you. And instead of breaking you, you wrapped it. You worked it. You turned it into wisdom, into depth, into the kind of understanding that people who haven't been through anything just don't have. And now after the purge comes the pearl. That's the part of you that's about to be revealed. Not the wound, the pearl, the pearl that grew around the wound. So now I want you to picture what's filling that empty space back up. And because emptiness on its own isn't the goal, right? All right? Emptiness is just step one. What's filling you up now is something that actually belongs to you. A real love, a real belonging. Not the version other people projected onto you. Not the conditional love where you had to perform a certain way to receive it. Not the love that came with strings and silent expectations and guilt attached, but something steadier, something that doesn't ask you to shrink in order to keep it. You were filled up for years with other people's projections, their fears about you, their disappointments, their unspoken expectations that you somehow absorbed and started living out like they were your own choices. All of that has been emptied. And what's coming in now is something that's just for you. Something that asks nothing of you except that you receive it. This is your moment to receive. By the way, and I really want to underline that because so many of you are going to hear that, all of this, and immediately go back into giving mode, fixing mode, taking care of everyone else mode, and the second the video is over. I need you to resist that just for a little while. Let yourself actually sit in the receiving. You don't have to earn it this. You don't have to do anything to deserve the lightness that's coming in. It's already yours. It was always supposed to be yours. You just had to clear out the stuff that wasn't yours first. to make room for it. I also keep getting this image of something flipping, like an old, heavy, restrictive pattern flipping into its opposite, and abundance showing up right alongside it. Like the thing that used to trap you, used to keep you small, used to make you feel stuck in a circle you couldn't escape. That thing has lost its grip. It's not gone in the sense that it never existed, but it's gone in the sense that it no longer has power over the way it used to. And right behind it, almost like it was just waiting for the door to open, comes this sense of overflow, of more than enough, emotionally, financially, of course, creatively, in whatever area you felt the most lack. I feel a shift coming where you start experiencing more than enough instead of barely enough. I want to say something about timing too, because I know some of you are gonna watch this and think, okay, but when does this actually happen? When do I start to feel it? And honestly, you are already starting to feel it. Some of you felt it before you even clicked play on this. This is just confirming what your body already told you. Body knows first. The hardest part, the actual purge, the emptying, that part is done. You're not in the middle of it anymore, even if it doesn't feel like finished yet. Even if you are still a little raw, a little tender, a little unsure of who you are now that you are not carrying that weight. That tenderness is normal. Yeah. Think about how strange it feels to set down something heavy that you have carried for years. Your arms still feel the weight even after it's gone, right? Your body has to relearn what it feels like to move without that load. That's where you are. The weight is gone. Your body just hasn't fully caught up yet. So don't let this message convince you that you have more purging to do. I really want to be direct about that, because it would be so easy for you to hear all of this and go like, okay, so I guess I still have more dark stuff to release. And that's not the message. The message is the opposite. It's time to stop emptying and start feeling. If you keep digging around looking for more pain to process, more old wounds to release, you're gonna manufacture suffering that doesn't need to be there anymore just because looking for pain has become a habit. The work right now is not more digging. The work right now is letting yourself be filled. Letting yourself receive the passion, the creativity, the lightness, the love that's already moving toward you. And I keep thinking about that one-on-one conversation I described earlier, the goodbye conversation, because I think a lot of you are gonna have a version of that moment in real life over the next few days, if you haven't already. It might not look like dramatic thing. It might just be a quiet moment where you suddenly feel okay about something you've been holding onto for years. A person, a memory, a version of yourself, an old dream you gave up on, an old relationship that ended badly, whatever it is for you. When that moment comes, I want you to actually let yourself feel it instead of rushing past it. Say thank you to it, even if it hurt you, especially if it hurt you, honestly. Because pain that gets acknowledged loses its grip a lot faster than pain that gets shoved down and ignored. And then let it go. Actually, let it go. Not let it go in the way we say it when we don't mean it, but actually open your hands and release it. Because here is the truth underneath the title of this whole thing, the thing I really want you to walk away with. The final goodbye isn't really about losing something. It's about finally putting down something that was never yours to carry in the first place. Their fault, their pain, somebody else's stuff got handed to you, probably when you were too young or too trusting or too loving to know you could say no. And you carried it for them because that's what you knew how to do. And now after everything, after the late nights and the old memories resurfacing and the random aches and the moments where you wondered if you were going backwards instead of forwards, you finally get to set it down. And yeah, you let go of what you love. Because love and pain get tangled up together more often than anyone wants to admit, especially when the pain came from somewhere you loved deeply. That tangled, complicated. Grief is real and it's valid. And you are allowed to feel sad about it, even while you feel relieved. But on the other side of that goodbye is you, the actual you, the version that existed before all that borrowed pain you got handed to you, the version with opinions and ideas and a creative spark that's been sitting quietly underneath the weight this whole time, waiting for enough space to finally show up. That version isn't something you have to build from scratch. You don't have to become someone new. You just have to remember who you were before you started carrying everyone else's stuff like it was your job. She's there, he's there. They are there. Whoever you are, that version of you never actually left. It just got buried under all that dark, heavy material for a while. And now that container's being drained, now that light's coming back in, that version is going to start showing up more and more in your everyday life, in small ways at first. A little more honesty in a conversation, a little less apologizing for taking up space, a little more willingness to start the project you've been putting off. And then, in bigger ways, because momentum builds once you stop spending all your energy holding something down. So, if this video found you, take it as your confirmation. You have been through something real these last couple weeks. It wasn't your imagination, and it wasn't you regressing or falling apart. It was the last stretch of a release that's been a long time coming. The purge is over. The pain that surfaced wasn't even yours to begin with. Their fault, their pain, and you don't have to keep holding it for them anymore. You said your final goodbye. Even if it was quiet, even if nobody else saw it happen, even if you yourself didn't fully clock what was going on until just now, hearing it laid out like this. And yes, some grief comes with that, because you let go of what you love, even the parts of it that were never good for you. That's allowed. Grieve it if you need to, but don't mistake the grief for a sign that something's wrong. It's just the sound of an old door finally closing all the way, so a new one can open. From here, it's not about emptying anymore. It's about receiving. Let the passion come in. Let the ideas come in. Let yourself want things again without immediately listing all the reasons you should not. Let yourself speak up in the moments where you used to go quiet. Let yourself take up the space you've been shrinking away from for longer than you probably even realized. You did the hardest part already. You sat with the pain. You thanked it. You let it go. Now all that's left is to walk forward a little lighter than you've been in a long, long time. That's the message. That's the whole message. You're not broken. You were never broken. You were just full of something that was never yours, and now you're not. Walk in that. Trust that. You earned this lightness, even if it doesn't feel earned yet. It will. Promise, it will.